Welcome back to part 6 of the waterproof softshell jacket making series. In this part we will finish our jacket here, close the side seams and do the end seams. So I will start with the side seams and put that together so I can sew it together. So I have put this together with a few clips and will now sew it with the overlock machine. I will do the rest with the overlock machine, as it came out that the seams look much cleaner even under that tape. So the differential transport is set to medium and we will now start. So I will double up the seam with the lock stitch machine, as it gives a nicer appearance. Next we will do the top stitch, and I always do it like that to put that seam in the direction where it naturally would want to lie. So if you have some orthogonal seams here that make the fabric thicker, then I always put it on the other side so it's easier to sew and it will look better afterwards. Now comes the hard part, means that sleeve. You see I have to sew it as it is closed now, and it is possible, but it is quite hard. You have to drag everything through and then sew along until the end, because with that ruler you only can sew from one side, so this will be a little bit tricky. So the first side looks like that now. From the inside, like that. You see I didn't hit that mark here precisely, but yeah, I think in the end you will not recognize it if you wear it. So let's do the second side now. So I have now put the second side together and will sew it as well. So, and again, a kind of locking seam just beneath the overlock one. So top stitch again. Now I have to do it from the other side, which is natural, as I want to have the seam on the same sides, on both sides of the jacket. And yeah, let's see. I will try to do it in one go this time. So it looks like that now. And this time you can see I sewed it on point. Very nice. And next task will be seam tape again. So I will not show that anymore, because I think it gets quite boring to show you all the same all the time. I will just do it and we see afterwards. So finished that one, and as you can see, it came out nicely. So it's really, I would say, easier to apply the seam tape on that overlock seam. So that's also lessons learned for me. You can see that I changed my process here within making that jacket. Lessons learned is if you have jersey waterproof or not, you should sew with an overlock machine, which is intended to work with fabric like that. And ideally, in an ideal world, I would say if we would have an an elastic seam tape, that would be perfect, because here we still have a little bit of trouble. If that stretches, then may not stick anymore, so the glue may get away there. But I didn't get something like that. I have to look for that. But I think the main waterproofness comes from closing those stitching holes, and this is in the middle, and here in the middle it will stick. It will only get loose at the sides here, so I don't think that will make much difference in waterproofness. Therefore, this is fine now. The last thing we have to do is to apply a seam here. Therefore, I will cut some stripe, turn it over, and then sew it from the other side. I don't think I will apply some seam tape there, because here at the end makes no sense to me. Same for the end here. Here we don't have to cut anything, that's built in. Just have to turn it around and sew it on with the flat lock machine. So I first will now put some correct thread in the flat lock machine, then cut the stripe, and then we'll see again. So I've cut some 4 centimeter wide stripe here, and we will now sew it there. And I also took a decision to not change the thread in the lock stitch machine. I have a gray thread in there, and I think it corresponds nicely with the dark blue of the fabric here. So I just leave it as it is. This is a 4-needle lock stitch machine, and it's always a pain to change the thread. So we will now go to the overlock, make that seam. So here I have the back piece is a little bit rounded at the end, so I will stretch that lower stripe here so it better fits to the rounding curve here. I'll try to turn that over. I will still lock the ends with the lock stitch machine. Maybe I think I do it like before. I go over one time so it has a nicer finish. That went well, and I now sew the end piece here. The other side will be much easier now. So that flat lock machine is very picky, therefore we'll see how well it will perform here with the task. Especially if the material gets thicker. So that's how it went out. You can see if you look closely that didn't work well all the time. The machine is very, very picky. On the inside you see it even more, that it didn't catch all the time. Yeah, this is like it is. This machine, it's a Siruba. I wouldn't buy that one again. So last thing to do is to do the seams on the sleeves. You see it already here that it still does not work well. Not the kind of fabric this machine likes. You know, in these flat lock machines, you always have to lock the thread, otherwise the seam will disappear. Sleeve 2. So finished. And this, yeah, as I said, the machine didn't perform well. If I had known that, I would have changed the thread so you don't see it as much as you see it now. I don't like it, but it is as it is now. I really need to get another machine there. Same for the sleeves. It's a little bit better, but if you look at the inside, not really. So the jacket itself is now finished. You can see it came out quite nicely. Also here, also the pockets. You can now open them up. So that worked well. Same for the other side. First time you have to get up and down one time. Yeah. That's nice. The only thing that annoys me is the seam here. But it's like it is. So thank you for watching. See you in the next part where we will make the hoodie. That will be the last one. Then we will have finished everything. So again, thanks for watching. See you next time.